Hello guys and welcome to our next lecture, and today we will talk about inheritance. Basically, inheritance is a key concept that enables a new class to inherit a property from an existing class. Like for example, a couple has a child. Like for example, you were born, you had some of the same features as your parents, like sometimes like your nose is same as your dad, or your ears are same as your mother, like all that. So basically you inherited some properties from your parents onto you, the child, which is you. So basically inheritance in C++ is basically in a concept where we use a base class to derive some classes from it. We use the data members from that base class and then make our own derived class. Like we basically make we have a parent class and then we have a child class. So we basically take all the properties from the parent class and put it onto the child class, that get put it on the child class. So basically, if I have a code over here, this is our parent class animal. Okay, all its things are public, its constructor is public and all that. So we have inherited the class dog from the class animal. We have taken the properties of from this class and put it on this put on this class, and same goes for the cat class. So basically these two belong into the class animal. They are both animals and they are under the class animal. So we have two classes, class dog and class cat. To use inheritance we use this semicolon notation between the access modifier, which we learned in the previous lecture, and then the class name which we are going to derive from the parent class basically. So class dog, this means that the class dog is publicly inheriting from the animal. So basically all of the things that are in this class are going to be public in this class as well. If we have this class, some of the function from this and into this one, then we are inheriting it publicly. If we put it at private, let me do private, then we can then all of the things, everything we inherit from this public section would all be private, and the private would remain private and the protected would remain protected. If we use protected, then it would be the same, but the private would remain private and the public would turn into protected. So basically, if let me do add a few. Okay, so I had this public class and this protected thing. This protected, let me add void walk. Okay, so see out animal is walking. Okay, so basically what would happen, this protected would turn into private and this public would turn into private as well. And if we have protected, this protected would remain as protected, but this public would turn into protected as well, and it would remain as protected in this class barrier. Basically I call this a barrier because it like keeps the code inside of the class inside it. So basically it remains in the scope of the protected in the scope of the class. So basically, like if I have the have it inherited as private. Okay, so if I use the object over here, like this function, this constructor from the animal from the animal class, and get it inherited from the from the animal and use it in the dog one and use it outside over here, it would give us like this. As you can see, is a private member of animal because it has turned into private. And in this, basically what has happened, we have basically, the compiler have basically did this and this. This is basically what has happened in our inheritance. It has taken the code, all the functions, all the data type and all the data, all the variables, everything from the animal class and put it under our this dog class. Okay, so if we put it as private, then the whole this code would turn into private. Like basically compiler would do, let me do private. Basically what would happen, basically this would happen, and this there, like this would be like this the code would turn into this. Just ignore this thing, like the code would turn into this, that in the eat function, the eat constructor is in the private. So this is what these access modifiers do in the class inheritance. Okay, so now after like all this, if we have to call our constructor or anything or any object, we would simply make the object of the derived class. If you want, we can make the object from the parent class. Like let me do animal, and we make what should we make? And let's keep it animal. Okay, animal. Okay, so if I go see out animal behavior, okay, so animal behaviors and L, then I go ahead and animal dot eat. We can do this as well, and we would just basically get animal is eating. Okay, so let me run the code and show you once. It's building. Okay, so as you can see, animal behaviors, animals is eating. Okay, so it's showed over here. Then we have dog behaviors, the animal is eating. Like this whole code ran under this thing. It went, like I told you, it got copied into this because it copies from this animal class, because it's the parent class. It copies the whole property from the class. So animal is eating, the dog eat. Okay, dog dot eat, and then dog is barking. We have it over here. Okay, then we have cat behaviors, as you can see here, cat, and we call the function from the animal class. We get this, and then cat is meowing, we get this. So basically this is how inheritance work, and the benefit of using inheritance is that it fosters code reusability. Basically we can use, like, make any as much classes as we want, and just inherit all of the functions, data members and everything from this, so we don't have to make it again and again and again, the same data types again and again, same type of constructors again and again. So we basically use inheritance to just make the code be extremely reusable, as so like we can save time and make it the code very efficient and easier to run. And it would make it like very like confusing if they're like this, like animal class is just being repeated, and then we have this repeated in this thing. It just gets a bit confusing. And like over here, if you like want to call out the function from constructor from it, it would become a bit hard to do, because there's like these are being repeated again and again inside over here, like the constructor is being overloaded again and again and again. So that the inheritance help us in making it the code very reusable, and makes it easier to understand for the end user if he wants to debug it, or the debugger, like if you have any error in there somewhere, we would just you look at the parent class, see if there's any error in there, and then we look at the child class where the error is originating from. So let me use a real world example for inheritance. Okay, so basically let me pull up a code that has a real world example. So we have an example over here. I'm not gonna explain it that much because it's gonna get complicated. So basically we have a class, parent class, that is a class vehicle. Okay, it has a few variables over here. Okay, it has a variable public like function described over here. Okay, and these are its variables. So and we have a constructor over here that displays info about the type of the vehicle, the color of the vehicle. Okay, and this is another function that has a string v type, color v color has these, and the type would be equal to the vehicle type, and color will be equal to vehicle color. Then we have class car that is derived from the vehicle, and another a constructor from the public class, from the public section. And then we have used the inheritance and then inherited the whole constructor from the parent class. So this is how it makes it easier for us to reuse the code. So basically we just derive it from one class and then you reuse it as many times as we want, and make a few variables here and there. Let me run this code and show you. As you can see, the type is motorcycle information, the car information, type car, color blue, car make Toyota, car model Camry. And then we have motorcycle information, type motorcycle, color black, and then motorcycle brand Harley Davidson and all that. So this is how we can use inheritance to help in us in making the code reusable and easier for the end user to understand. So this was the inheritance. This was how you can use inheritance, what is inheritance, and how is it beneficial for us. So I hope you learned a lot from this lecture, and I will see you in the next lecture.